Hi, Moral Recapped here. Today, I am going to explain about an American drama film called Pay It Forward. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. The police is called to attend an incident of domestic violence. Police cars gather outside that particular house and try to figure out what is happening. A reporter, Chris, pulls in with his car and approaches the commanding officer, trying to extract any information he can get. The officers tell him to go away, but Chris says he has every right to be there. The bad guy from the house drives his Jeep aggressively and bumps into Chris's car. Then he drives away and the police cars chase after him. A heavy rain starts and Chris's car is trashed. Out of nowhere, an old man appears and gives Chris the keys to his car. Chris finds that difficult to believe, a stranger giving him the keys to his expensive Jaguar without asking for anything in return. The old man takes Chris's card and just walks away. The next morning, it is the first day at school. Trevor and the rest of the students take their seats and chat with each other. That is, until teacher Eugene turns around from his seat and the class falls silent. He welcomes the 7th graders and gives them an inspirational speech. He says this is going to be a social studies class which mainly refers to how they interact with the world. He asks the students what they think the world expects from them and Trevor says nothing. Eugene says that's right, the world expects nothing from them right now, but one day they will not be just students. They will be free to act and interact with the world. The teacher then announces what their assignment for this whole year is going to be. The students have to think of an idea to make the world a better place and put it into action. The kids complain about it because they say it's a hard and weird assignment, but Eugene rather tells them they need to think of a new word, the word possible. The realm of possibility exists in each one of them, into their minds. Trevor asks Eugene what he has ever done to make the world a better place. Eugene replies that he mostly shows up and then passes the bucket at them. On his way back home, Trevor rides his bike past a camp filled with homeless people and he stares at a young adult, Jerry, who is having a snack. Trevor's mother, Arlene, is working her shift as a waiter in a strip club. She calls back home and Trevor picks up. She asks if everything is okay and Trevor replies yes. When he hangs up, we see that Trevor is sitting on his kitchen table with Jerry and they are eating cereal. Later, Arlene returns home and checks if everything is as it should be. Then she grabs a hidden bottle of alcohol and drinks. When she falls asleep, Trevor takes that bottle out of her hands and pours the remainder of it in the sink. Arlene wakes up the next morning and finds Jerry in her house. She is scared for a moment and kicks him out. She asks Trevor about him and Trevor replies he is doing something for his school assignment, but he doesn't tell her what it is because she would not understand. Arlene visits Trevor's school and has a talk with Eugene. She says they need to get him fired because his assignments are dangerous. If someone tells her son that he can do something, he believes he can and proceeds to do it. Eugene says it's not his responsibility how the students interpret the assignments in their minds. Meanwhile, Chris gets to the old man and asks him about the car. He tells Chris about an incident with his daughter at a hospital. She was having an asthma attack and nobody cared about it, but a stranger made a mess in the hospital and forced the doctors to treat her. He thanked the man and the man told him pay it forward. Do 3 big favors for 3 strangers. He also tells Chris not to mention his name in any article or he will file a lawsuit against him. Arlene finds Jerry in her garage fixing her car. She threatens him with a shotgun and he tells her something that Trevor told him about paying it forward. At the same time, Trevor is standing on the blackboard and explaining his idea on how to change the world. The idea is to pay it forward. It's about helping 3 people with something they can't do on their own. And then each of those people has to help 3 other people and so on. So the amount of goodness multiplies pretty fast. Eugene says that this is the first time after a long time that he is hearing a good and fresh idea. Sadly, Trevor understands that Jerry has given up and is not going to continue the circle of paying it forward. He crosses Jerry off his list and includes Eugene, his teacher, in it. He writes him a letter that's supposedly written by his mother and invites him to his house. Eugene visits them and things are awkward at first. Trevor's trick gets exposed, but Eugene and Arlene sit down to have dinner anyway. They talk for a while, but they are interrupted by Bonnie, one of Arlene's friends, and the dinner is finished. Arlene tells Trevor that what he did was wrong, and Trevor blames her that she only wants to hang out with drunks. They have a fight, and moments later, Trevor escapes from the house. Arlene calls Eugene for help, and they are able to quickly spot Trevor at the bus station. Arlene admits that she has a drinking problem and asks her son to forgive her. Trevor hugs her, and their little adventure ends well. Chris visits Sydney at prison, the man who helped the old man who helped him. Sydney says that the pay it forward idea was his and the whole thing started from him. However, Chris says that there is an old lady who claims the same thing. Eugene visits Arlene at her second job at the gambling slots, and they arrange a dinner for later. Arlene is late and rushes back home. Trevor helps her get ready because Eugene will think she does not respect him if she is late. Arlene meets with Eugene and tells him she respects him. Eugene tells her not to worry, she is just on time. Chris visits Sydney again, and this time Sydney tells him the real story. He stole a radio and the police was chasing him. An old lady noticed him and asked him if he is in trouble. She gave him a lift and he was able to escape the police. Sydney asked the lady why she helped him and what she wants in return. She replied that he would not understand and he would not do what she would want him to do, but she eventually explained the process to him. Chris asks Sydney why he did continue paying it forward, and Sydney replies that nobody is going to tell him what he can and he can't do. Arlene and Eugene return home from another date, and she invites him in to stay for the night. Eugene is a bit hesitant, and Arlene can't understand why. She tells him that if he does not like her as a woman, he can tell her. Eugene says it's not that. Arlene approaches him and they kiss. Eugene enjoys it for a bit, but then turns around, walks to his car, and drives away. Arlene visits his home the next day and wants to talk about it. Eugene says that he likes her, but he has not actually had sex ever before. Arlene says that she understands he might be nervous, and she is nervous as well. Eugene is still hesitant. He says that he likes to have a set routine in his life, and as long as he has that, he is fine. They argue, and Arlene leaves. Trevor crosses more names off his list, and he is pretty disappointed. Eugene walks near him, and Trevor is in a bad mood. He asks Eugene why he didn't call his mom. It's been 4 days since they last talked. Other than that, he is mad because his Pay It Forward project is not working. Trevor's words change Eugene's mind, and he visits Arlene. She invites him in, and they have intercourse together for the first time. In the morning, Eugene walks out of the bedroom to go to the bathroom, and Trevor sees him. Trevor is happy because he thinks his project worked, and he tells Eugene that he has to pay it forward now. Jerry walks across a bridge and sees a woman ready to jump. He approaches her and tries to talk her out of it. She asks him why he cares, and Jerry says that he owes somebody a favor. He says that he usually only thinks about his drugs, but when he saw her, something changed in him. He tells her to go and grab a cup of coffee with him. Trevor, Arlene, and Eugene are watching a wrestling match on the TV. While they are having fun, Trevor's father, Ricky, comes in and ruins the night. Later, Arlene meets with Eugene and tells him that she feels like she needs to give Ricky a chance now that he has been sober for so long. Eugene thinks that's crazy and shares his own experience about his drunk father and his mother, who always took him back. But the consequence of that was his father soaking him in gas and setting him on fire. He tells Arlene that she has to prevent anything bad from happening to Trevor. Arlene realizes that she made a mistake with Ricky, and she kicks him out. In the class, Trevor asks Eugene to give his mother another chance. Eugene says his mother made her choice. He cares about Trevor but can't just go back to Arlene. Trevor complains that he only cares about him because he is his teacher and they pay him to. Chris visits a camp with homeless people and gets in touch with the old woman who helped Sydney. It appears this woman is Trevor's grandmother, and Chris traces the pay it forward concept back to Trevor. He visits Trevor's house and asks Arlene to have an interview with her son. They gather at school and they set up an interview. Arlene and Eugene finally meet again in person. The interview starts and Trevor says some beautiful things. He says that most of the things he did never worked out. It's not like you can plan it. You just have to pay more attention to people and help them when you get the opportunity. When the interview is done, Eugene is moved by Trevor's words and approaches Arlene, asking her to be back together. At the same time, some kids corner one of Trevor's friends and Trevor runs to help him out. But in the heat of the moment, one of those kids pulls a knife out and Trevor is stabbed. Eugene and his mother transfer him to the hospital where the doctor tells him that Trevor didn't make it. The film ends in Trevor's house. Eugene and Arlene are watching the news, and the reporters say that the pay it forward idea has turned into a movement. They show a part of Trevor's interview. Eugene peeks out of the window and he walks outside with Arlene. A large crowd is gathered outside to bring some flowers and lighted candles in the memory of Trevor. Subscribe and hit that like button to help our channel grow. Turn the notifications on so you won't miss any of our new videos. Thanks for watching.